I'm Professor Weismantel, and today we're going to figure out how to put together a clarinet. Your first step is to want to be able to get the case together for the clarinet. Wow! Step number 2. After finding the case, you want to be able to set it down on a flat surface, so you're not just holding it up in the air or doing anything else like that. When you have a case that has a smaller part on the top side, generally that means that's the top of the case. With this one, it's pretty much even all across the side, so the easy way to tell it with this is when the bar on the lock is on the top side. You're good to go. Step number 3. After you've placed the clarinet case down on a flat surface, you are prepared to engage the locks. And open up the clarinet. Where is it? Okay, step 3, attempt number 2. After putting the case down on a flat surface, you are prepared to open the locks and find the clarinet inside of the case. Oh, come on! Foiled again! John, I've come for my clarinet. Did you steal it and replace it with that banana?
Yes?
You fiend! The day is saved! So, now that we have our case and all our pieces, we can start assembling the clarinet. Now, the one thing you want to keep in mind when you're putting the clarinet together is that you want to start from the bottom up. So, what's the first piece we're going to look at? It's the bell! So, here's the bell. Normally it has some sort of logo to tell you which part is the front, and that faces away from you, but this one doesn't, so it's just there. The next piece we're going to look at is the lower joint. So, lower joint! This is the lower joint. The way that you can tell this is because it has one male end. So, how does this fit into the bell? You just wiggle it in slowly. Now, you want to make sure that your palm is on the black part of the lower joint, so that you're not crushing the keys, because that would just be a whole mess, and yeah. So you're going to have this like this in your hand, and the bell here, and then just wiggle the two together. Now, what would make this job a lot easier if we had some sort of grease. Now, I've been told that you can just use chapstick, but don't just use chapstick, okay? Now that we have this assembled, we're going to then add the upper joint. Now, the upper joint is where things get a little bit tricky, and then it gets a lot easier from there. Upper joint! The upper joint is identified by the fact that it has two male ends. This is the next piece that attaches to the top of the lower joint. So the way that these two work is that there's this little mechanism right here on the lower joint that moves here. Now, you're not going to have to worry about that, just that that's what you're aiming for with the mechanism that's on the upper joint. The upper joint has this key right here, which makes this piece up here move. You can see it moving right there. So the way you're going to want to do this is hold this piece down, same idea with having your hand on the part that doesn't have any keys, and then wiggling the two together slowly, so that the two mechanisms meet up in the middle. So there's the two together right there in the middle. Yay! So now we have this, which basically looks like a completed clarinet, but we have a little bit more work to go. Then we get to barrel! The way that the barrel works is that same idea, it just fits into the mouthpiece. Mouthpiece! Now, for most kids that you're going to have, you're going to just want them to attach the barrel right away to the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece fits into the lower end, it wouldn't fit into the upper end. So there you have it. So before we put this whole piece with the ligature and whatnot onto the whole of the clarinet, we're just going to finish this up here. So then we get to the ligature. Ligature! The ligature is just going to fit on the flat side of this and have it facing towards the right. So this is my left, but your right. So when you're looking at this, you just want to slide it on down, and the way you do it is that you just want it to be comfortably tight so that it's not going back and forth. Apparently, there is an old wives' tale that says 2 turns or so on both full turns and then a half turn back on the top. Who knows what that means? So after we have this tightened, we're going to start with the reed. So when we have the reed, you're just going to want to take it out of the case and then have it here with the ligature and the mouthpiece. And you're just going to want to slide it flat into the ligature. So when we're putting the reed in, you're going to want to redo the ligature so that the reed gets slid in just flat to this. You're going to want to have about a quarter little tiny inch right there, like a couple centimeters between the top of the ligament and the reed. This part right here. So then we just tighten it on. So after you have everything tightened, you're good to go. You're just going to put this right on the top. Same idea, make sure that you're not pressing on too many of the keys. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And there you have it, a fully put together clarinet. So yeah, there you go. We now have it all together and you're good to play.
Leo, wait, it's you from the future. You forgot to wet the mouthpiece so that you're able to play the clarinet.
What's that, future me? I forgot to do what?
You forgot to wet the mouthpiece, you fool. Just wet the mouthpiece from when you're putting it all together and you'll be perfectly fine. Toodles.
Ah, I always forget something. Well, see you next time. Until then,